Representing the Indian perspective on the Newshour tonight, Maroof, Raza, Times Now strategic affairs expert from Delhi, General G.D. Bakshi from Delhi, and General Jaswal, former Army Commander, Northern Command, is joining us from Chandigarh. We are connecting three cities in Pakistan tonight, representing the Pakistani point of view. General Rashid Qureshi, former spokesperson to Musharraf, live from Islamabad. Admiral Javed, Iqbal, defense analyst from Lahore. And Zafar, Hilaly, my first question is to you. You're former Pakistani ambassador to the United States, and you are in Karachi this evening. Now, Zafar, Hilaly, you know, this is a classic military ambush. This is not a terrorist attack at all. And it would do Pakistan a lot of good that instead of embarrassing yourself by risking exposure later, as has happened in the case of Kargil, that you admit that you did carry out this intrusion and willingly try and interrupt the peace process, which you yourself seemed enthusiastic about till a few weeks back. Zafar, Hilaly.
Well, you know, while I was coming to the studio, as I was climbing the steps, I was met by a Pakistani who works in this studio, and he's in the other room. He's the cousin of the man who the Indians killed in Kashmir, and he attended their burial last week. We did not make such a song and dance about it as you do. But he is here. If you like, you can ask him. He very much wants to tell you exactly in what shameful circumstances that Pakistani soldier was killed.
I can understand, Zafar Hilaly, that you don't want to talk about what happened at Chakandabag area, 200 kilometers away from Jammu, when at 1 a.m. there was an ambush on a 6-member Indian patrol. And you can ask Rashid Qureshi whether insurgents carry out ambushes on army patrol routes or whether terrorists carry it out. Rashid Qureshi will himself tell you that this is an army operation.
Your people have themselves said that there were terrorists involved. That's the first question. Secondly, 2 days ago in Mirpur, 4 Pakistanis were abducted by the Indian army who crossed 460 meters into Pakistan and abducted them. I have their names. If you want, we have written to the UN and we have written to you and we have said that these people should be returned. Now the fact of the matter is, please.
So nobody believes the ISI.
The blame is only on one side. Now my point is this: these incidents will occur and continue to occur as long as you in Kashmir
don't go down that beaten path. Don't go down that beaten path, Zafar Hilaly. Don't go down that beaten path. I'll get Maroof, Raza into the debate, because I think that Nawaz Sharif, your Prime Minister, unless the Prime Minister is not of any relevance and unless Pakistan has become a banana republic, peace with India was one of the themes of Nawaz Sharif's election campaign, wasn't it? And since he has come to power, Maroof, there have been 57 such incidents of ceasefire violations this year alone. And this is the 5th major violation in less than a month, Maroof.
Arnab, whatever evidence Mr. Hilaly wishes to put across to us, we can always put across counter evidence, and perhaps much more alarming counter evidence. But the point to understand is the following. Firstly, in the case of Pakistan, since the days of General Zia, when he decided to bleed India by 1,000 cuts, primarily in Kashmir and elsewhere, there has been a very, very thin line, if at all, between the operations of the army and that of the jihadis. It's a known fact that the jihadis in Pakistan use the army bases as launch pads and are often supported by army units in their efforts to enter into Indian territory. This latest ambush is a classic military ambush, and ambushes are normally not carried out by terrorists and jihadis because they specialize in hit-and-run operations or suicidal attacks. They don't wait to hit out a few soldiers and announce their arrival. So classically, it's been a case of a military operation. Now, what for me is really of concern is that Mr. Nawaz Sharif is talking of peace with India, but there is evidence, and some writers within Pakistan and from outside the international community have been showing that he has certain linkages with hardline groups. Precisely. And therefore is not willing to dismiss them or punish them or bring them to book. In fact, his brother, Mr. Shahbaz Sharif, has gone on record to say that the Pakistani PML in Punjab has been even funding madrasas in Muridke, which we classically know, and I quote from the book Storming the World Stage, The History of Lashkar-e-Toiba, in which the Muridke madrasa, which he has been funding as a charity institution, is clearly the recruitment ground for the elite.
No, since
so
this is a known fact. No, since this is a known fact.
Doing, where the governmental support is available.
No, this is a known fact. Even
So,
Rashid
okay,
Qureshi,
now
even
what
Rashid
I want to
Qureshi
come
will
across
admit
to is
tonight.
the following.
No. When Rashid
Now,
Qureshi, for
Pakistan,
example, Maroof, when Rashid Qureshi was military spokesperson to Musharraf, he never admitted.
The big question for me is the big question.
Okay, go ahead with your question. I'll come after that.
What I want to say is that there are two things. One is that in the case of Pakistan Army, there has been a long history of the army masquerading as an irregular force from the days of General Akbar Khan in the 47-48 operation. Gohar Ayub Khan's been on record to say Operation Gibraltar, 5,000 irregulars were launched by General Ayub Khan along with the army.
That's a known fact.
Time, it happened in Kargil.
That's a known fact.
The point at issue to understand is that the army does operate with irregulars in Pakistan. Irregulars don't wear Pakistan Army uniforms. As our defense minister has said, there were people in Pakistan Army uniform, which clearly defines
exactly.
for me
So we know
the role
that.
of the Pakistan
So we
Army
know
in the
that, and
latest
everyone in
ambush.
Pakistan knows that.
The big question is okay, now the big question is Pakistan wanting to lose this window to get a peace arrangement with India?
Of course
or
they
a
do.
few days down the line, India would be so big strategically that it will have
I'll now give the floor. I'll give the floor to General. Maroof, I'll have to interrupt you there to let the other Pakistani speaker in, and I give the floor to General Rashid Qureshi. And General Rashid Qureshi, you know, you are a veteran of Kargil, and you know that even Musharraf now, you know, who you worked under, has admitted Kargil and he's acknowledged Kargil, and he's in fact gloating about Kargil. And Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan told reporters that more than 500 Pakistani soldiers were killed in Kargil, and you even disowned their bodies at that point of time. This strategy that you are adopting has already been seen through by us and been seen through by the entire world. The entire world has seen through this strategy, and I don't want to push the point, but I agree with Maroof that 1947-48 you denied, you know the facts. In 65 you denied, you know the facts. The beheading you denied, you know the facts. Kargil you denied, you know the facts. General Rashid Qureshi, why are you doing it again and again? What is your motive?
Pranam, whenever I listen to you, it just makes me laugh that you come to a discussion with a fixed issue in mind,
right,
which you want to impose on your listeners, and you want to prove in some way or the other that Pakistan and the Pakistan Army is responsible for everything that happens, every wrong that happens.
No, so you are admitting that Kargil was a wrong. You are admitting that Kargil was a wrong by saying that. You are admitting Kargil was a wrong.
Hold on.
Just a quick interruption.
Your problem
is the Pakistan Army so incompetent that is the Pakistan Army so incompetent?
There is no point in a discussion.
Okay, let him complete. Let him complete. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me first.
Sir, just a small point.
Let him complete, Maroof.
You want to laugh at Arnab's assertion, but is the Pakistan Army so incompetent that jihadis are walking past their posts without their knowledge?
Now, if you are going to continue to speak while I am speaking, nobody will hear you, nobody will hear me. It's pointless then carrying out a discussion when you can't stop speaking and you can't listen to a point of view that doesn't agree with your opinions. The problem is that when Zafar Hilaly Saab was speaking,
I was just asking another added question.
Arnab, both of you were interrupting him and did not allow him to complete his argument. Then you ask a question of me by quoting time and again, and then before I can start speaking, now Maroof and you keep interrupting. So there is no point in a discussion if this is the attitude that we are going to have.
Well, I just want to say one thing to you, sir.
Okay, go ahead,
One second. I think it is Musharraf who said, and I quote, after he returned to Pakistan in May 2013, that I am proud of the Kargil operation. when he did not have the guts to accept even the bodies of his own soldiers? Why is he saying in May 2013 that he's proud of the Kargil operation? And may I request you, Rashid Qureshi, to tonight on the Newshour prove to me that Musharraf did not say that?
You see, now your problem is you start a discussion on one point and without listening to arguments, you start talking about something in the past, which...
Something in the past, it's Kargil I'm talking about.
No, hold on here. Shall we talk about East Pakistan and how Indian Army infiltrated into East Pakistan?
Yes, we are happy to talk about the thunderous defeat that the Indian Army carried out in East Pakistan, about the way in which we finished off and vanquished the Pakistani army in response to your attempts at repressing the people of Bangladesh.
Fantastic.
So we can talk about that. And you also the generosity which we showed by giving away 90,000 POWs.
That it was yes. Now, therefore, you are admitting today that it was interference by the Indian Army and the Indian government which caused Pakistan to split into two pieces.
Well, did you not see the Pakistani generals signing?
It was a military operation in support of humanitarian issues.
Absolutely, in which the Pakistani forces had to agree to an abject surrender.
Fantastic.
But that's not the point.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, yes. General Qureshi...
That's not the point.
General Qureshi...
Anything that India does
Qureshi, come back to the point.
General Qureshi... on the border... happens on the border.
General Qureshi...
You can't blame Pakistan for it. There's no point in that.
General Qureshi, please tell me why, following the latest revelations by a close aide of Musharraf, there was no option but to seek the formation of a judicial commission to conduct an inquiry into the Kargil episode. And I am quoting not myself but PML leader Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan, who said this outside Parliament. Now tell me who's making things up. What I am telling you today is that just in the way that you are completely disregarding the direct role of the Pakistani army in carrying out the killing of these 5 Indian soldiers, similarly, a few years back, you disregarded your own government's role in Kargil. And we are asking you today why you are doing that. Who will believe you when you are doing that? Can you tell me why, General Qureshi?
No, fantastic. If we go into Kargil operation, you will come to a conclusion, an impartial observer will come to a conclusion that the Indian Army and what you keep doing within Kashmir as well as on our borders was the cause of this. Now, if we start discussing that, then we will not go further in what you wanted to discuss today, which was according to you, an ambush of an Indian patrol inside Indian lines.
Sir, I am going back into history. I now need to get the other panelists in, but I want to tell Zafar, Hilaly, you and Javed Iqbal, as well as GD Bakshi and General Jaswal, that why am I going back into history? I am going back into history because in 1947, when you sent well-armed raiders into Jammu and Kashmir, you denied your hand in the invasion, and you reluctantly accepted their involvement only when the presence of the regular army personnel was detected in J&K by UN observers who were deployed there after the ceasefire agreement in 1948. So 1948 to 2013, 65 years.
Fantastic.
A same strategy, General Bakshi. The same strategy. Javed, Admiral Iqbal, you're getting restless, but you have to admit tonight, it's the same strategy.
Absolutely.
You see, now tell me, if
I would like to point out that it
how
has
it is that 48 was not.
Hello.
Your argument is so, illogical that if you could go to Bangladeshis for humanitarian aid, why Pakistani couldn't go to Kashmiris for humanitarian aid?
And let me just explain that. Admiral.
I'll answer that.
There were 10 billion Pakistani refugees. There were 3. There were 10 million East Pakistani refugees. Then Bangladeshi refugees pushed into India and imposed an intolerable burden upon us. There were 3 million Bangladeshis killed. There were 200,000 Bangladeshis. Kindly hear me out, Admiral. Kindly hear me out. Let me finish.
You don't. No, you don't.
There
you
were
don't give
3
others to
million
explain.
Bangladeshis killed and 200,000 Bangladeshi women raped. All these people, 10 million
How
refugees
many
have
have
been pushed
Indian
into
army
Indian
raped
soil.
in Kashmir? How many Indian army have killed in Kashmir?
Oh, forget
How many
it, forget
girls
it,
they have raped?
forget it. There are a number
Why
of
don't you
human
give
rights organizations
Why don't you
working
give the
there.
statistics also? No. There are over
We have
300,000
been
people
far
in
more
Kashmir.
human than
This
that.
is your province.
You invited,
Or whom
you
are you
exported
fooling?
your problems
You are
in,
fooling
in
yourself.
Bangladesh onto
You
us.
are not fooling anybody. You are fooling
We
the Indian
have-
public. You are creating hatred.
The
You are
justice
creating.
was
You
on our
want to
side.
create hatred.
Justice was on our side, and I'm very sorry to state that your wanted army folded up in 14
want to
days
use
in
Pakistan
Bangladesh,
to keep
and
India
we had
together.
93,000 prisoners
You
in the
want
bag.
Pakistan-
93,000 prisoners in the bag.
If Pakistan army is that
I hope
I had
Don't-
why
I had
are
a
you
question.
scared?
No, one second. General
Why are
Jaswal.
you scared?
General Jaswal, one second. No,
You
let's
are
not
scared like
get into
hell.
let's not get into who's scared and who's not. But Maroof asked a very pertinent question, which I expect tonight General Rashid Qureshi as the military man will answer. But before that, I want to go across to General Jaswal to get a second view on Maroof's question, and then I'll go back to General Rashid Qureshi and our Pakistani guest. General Jaswal, Maroof makes a point that because the Pakistanis are saying that our army is not involved, which is, of course, nobody believes. I don't think the Pakistanis themselves believe that. But Maroof raises a point that is the Pakistani army so incompetent now? We hear about what's going on in the Pakistani army, that most of them want to become half politicians rather than generals. But the point is, are they so incompetent that a group of terrorists go right under their nose and intrude into the Indian side? Is that question relevant, General Jaswal, in your view as well, the question Maroof raised?
Can you let me first give the answer, then you can go to Jaswal.
I would
If the
first.
Indian Navy,
Firstly,
if the Indian army is so incompetent,
firstly,
that the people from
please,
Pakistan
I'll request
cross
all the
over and go to
panelists.
Bombay, then you have no business to
please.
ask a question about Pakistan army.
So thank you for just confirming your Pakistan government's role in 2611. Not that
I
we ever
think
had any doubt.
I'll request the panelists.
That you only need that answer.
General Jaswal.
I would kindly request the panelists. I did not interfere with anyone who was speaking, so kindly give me space to speak. First of all, I was in another debate. One of the ideas which was given was that how do you know that these were not Kashmiri militants who came in? What a far-fetched idea. Let's be military-minded. When you go into military operations, they would come from the hinterland, cross my rear areas, get through the FDLs, go ahead of the fence, kill the chaps and go back again. I mean, that is the kind of justification which is being given. An incident has happened. I have myself carried out interrogation when I was a brigadier. I have myself had the report of a BAT action team when he was captured subsequently. He clearly said that the SSG chaps were there to support him in the operation. Similarly over here, what Arnab is saying is absolutely valid. You mean to say that 20 people, they go through the Pakistani picket, they come ahead, ambush, there's a firefight, and the Pakistani picket doesn't come to know of it? I mean, there's a tacit approval, whether there is direct involvement or support involvement by that picket, which we code name as Bakshi. Now, no one can deny that any military man, I mean, we are logical in our thought process and extrapolation, no one is going to agree to it. Definitely the picket has been, and we have seen it time and again. Even when the two boys were beheaded in January, the moment the firing started, the Pakistani picket opened up from the other side. Were they dreaming beforehand? They were aware of it because that was the launch pad. They had come from that, and the moment the firefight started, they pinned down our troops. So all along, I mean, I've served sufficiently in Northern Command. All along during the CI period, whenever the terrorists have got involved or they have to infiltrate, the army gives a tacit support, whether in form of, mortar shelling is going on or firing of the picket is going down. They give support to the terrorists. They are hand in glove. Who can deny it? For heaven's sake, There is a problem at hand. Let's address that.
No, but if that is the case, General Jaswal, I'd like to ask. No, I'd like to ask General Rashid Qureshi that why do you think you will be able to continue this strategy? General Rashid Qureshi, you are aware, and tonight on the Newshour, I will only quote to you what Pakistani sources are saying. Now, in an article published in your country's newspaper, because we are now in a very critical point where we know, the world knows, and nobody believes you. Everybody knows. China knows, America knows, the Saudis know, India knows. Every country in the world knows that you carry out terror operations and your terrorist groups and your army work together. Can you tell me, General Rashid Qureshi, whether it is true or not that in an article published in Pakistan's Nation newspaper on January 6th this year, Lieutenant General Shahid Aziz, who retired as commander of the 4 Corps in Lahore in 2005, he presents an amazing account of the Kargil war. And I want you to talk about it because you served under Musharraf. And he says, General Rashid Qureshi, that there were no mujahideen. There were no mujahideen. There were only taped wireless messages, which fooled no one. Our soldiers were made to occupy barren ridges with handheld weapons and ammunition. General Rashid Qureshi, is General Shahid Aziz lying?
What you have just quoted is from something that you say Shahid Aziz has written in an article in The Nation.
Yes.
Frankly, at that time, Shahid Aziz was not in an operational command in the Pakistan Army.
Sir.
He became a corps commander in Lahore much later. He had nothing to do and he was nowhere placed to understand or to oversee what was happening in Kargil. So, first of all, I totally disagree with what you've quoted. Shahid Aziz.
Then why is the Judicial Commission being set up to conduct an inquiry to the Kargil episode?
Listen. Now you're talking about something about a Judicial Commission, which sounds of which we have heard in the past, but everyone knows that Nawaz Sharif at that time had said that he had no idea about what was happening in Kargil.
In
order to what he thought was an excuse to save himself from any responsibility.
Then why is it that there are intercepted phone calls? Why is it that there are intercepted phone calls from the headquarters of the Baluch regiment which reveal that Pakistani army units congratulated each other on the Indian soldiers' beheading? These phone calls were there and your Pakistani authorities have been made told about it.
Hold on. That's something that you keep saying and quoting.
Well, it's been quoted and written about all over and your government knows about it. You've been informed about it.
No, I have not been informed about any such thing.
And you said that Saurabh Kalia, your minister said that Saurabh Kalia may have died because of inclement weather, but on your television, one of your soldiers to one of your journalists last week makes an admission that he killed Saurabh Kalia. So what are we talking about? How many facts will you conjure up?
Look, hold on.
How many?
Either you argue or discuss a point that you raised first of all, or you keep on going on to Saurabh Kalia.
Sir,
I have said
I'm only trying to prove it's a Pakistani army-led attack, and you should admit that tonight. It's a Pakistani army-led attack.
No, hold on. What do you mean by that? How do you know this? I don't know this. How do you know this?
Well, I'll let General Bakshi answer that. General Bakshi?
Instead of answering or inquiring impartially into an issue, you first commit.
Sir, I have given you 1,000 facts tonight.
Accuse, then you commit, and then you start proving it by calling either General Bakshi or whoever you want to call.
No, General Bakshi is only following up, he's responding to it, but you are very well aware that your debutant Foreign Minister Hina Rabbani Khan was completely proved wrong after repeated denials on the beheading case. You are aware of that. She was proved wrong. And she said that incident was blown out of proportion.
How do you say that Hina Rabbani Khan wasn't even a minister at the time that you're saying that this happened.
Well, Hina Rabbani Khar said that Pakistan had conducted an intensive investigation and found no evidence that any beheading took place. And Hina Rabbani Khar had not one word to say after the facts were presented to her. Anyway, General Bakshi is responding. General Bakshi to Rashid Qureshi.
By whom? There was no...
Arnab, I'd like to just get this argument back to what is of concern today. And the fact is that this is too grave a provocation for us to take lying down. I think there is a reason and a need to react, and react fairly violently in that area. And I think in the days to come they will see that. The only pity is that when you talk of peace, when you talk of wanting peace with India, and this is the way you match it up with deeds, then the rhetoric and the deeds, there is a major disjunct. No, but and I think that is to be laid entirely at the door of Pakistan.
Okay, Admiral Javed Iqbal is responding. Admiral Javed Iqbal is responding. The question tonight is, if you don't want peace, if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to sustain a dialogue, if you want to carry on in the way that you do, then I think you should make it official now, Admiral Iqbal. You can't have an official and unofficial line.
If you want dummies to sit in here and endorse your viewpoint, you are sadly mistaken. The dialogue is between the two sides. Dialogue is about hearing each other, not only monologue.
Well, I know that, but I want to know whether you think that your government has no control. Either you are admitting tonight, Admiral Javed Iqbal, that Nawaz Sharif has no control.
I am saying what is the... I would like to ask you, my dear, what is the purpose of this discussion? If you think that the Pakistan is such a rogue, you should not, make connection and friendship with Pakistan. Tell it to your government.
Well, you had a government. The purpose of this discussion...
Why are you telling us?
The purpose of the discussion is to ask you...
You don't have government.
The purpose
Why don't you tell it to your government?
No, because in our country, our army works under our government. In your country, your army is a rogue army which operates on its own.
Forget about country.
No, that's fundamentally the point.
Country.
That's fundamentally the point. And Admiral,
forget about us.
Admiral,
if you don't want to maintain relations with us, look,
Admiral Rashid Qureshi, and Admiral Javed Iqbal and General Rashid Qureshi.
My name I'm Admiral Javed Iqbal and not Rashid.
Admiral Javed Iqbal. Now, I don't know what you are trying to say. On February 14th up to July 27th, I have 57 cases of similar violence. And my question to Zafar Hilaly, who seems to be chuckling there, is this. You can decide, Zafar Hilaly, that in your country you have a unique situation.
You can
you can tell us tonight. You can express your helplessness
tonight. Can you give one answer to my one simple question? Can you? What is your purpose of doing all this? What is your purpose? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah, I want to ask you. I want
to
ask
purpose,
you.
May I
want to ask. No. One second. Let me answer that. That question has been put to me.
If your purpose is to prove us that we are a rogue state, don't have relations with us. What is the big deal?
Arnab.
One second. Arnab. The purpose is to ask you a very simple question. Has your Pakistani army taken over the establishment there? Or is today... One second.
Look,
is today...
Is there... Pakistan had 4 dictators. Is there something... Is it a news for you? Are you so naive that you don't understand this?
General, Admiral...
I'm sorry to say.
Admiral Iqbal...
This is your level of
Admiral Iqbal, I am amazed at your... Admiral Iqbal, I am amazed that... Admiral Iqbal, don't mind it. You're a very senior person, but I am amazed at your ignorance.
No, I'm not minding it.
I am amazed at your ignorance. You are not aware that peace with India... You are not aware that despite all your rhetoric... You are not aware that despite all your rhetoric... Peace with India was the theme of Nawaz Sharif's election campaign. Since he came to power in June, let me complete, those pledges and promises have rung hollow, which forces all of us to ask you one question. Has the Pakistani army taken over effectively?
Well, Pakistani army had taken over Pakistan effectively 4 times. Who doesn't know that? But if Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif wants to have a peace dialogue, and if you think it is not genuine, don't do it. What is the big deal in it? Why are you wasting the time of so many people?
Maroof, you wanted to answer.
Arnab. Yes, I, with due respects to the Admiral, the General and Mr. Hilaly, I just want to bring out 3 quick points. One is, and I want to quote Ahmed Rashid, a very respected scholar from Pakistan. The first is the Admiral saying, don't have dialogue with us, fine. Even I say there's no need for dialogue with Pakistan till we can meet a common meeting ground. Absolutely. However, Ahmed Rashid is of the view that there are many sensible people in Pakistan who are now feeling that the Chinese are getting exasperated with Pakistan's, co-involvement with terror groups. The Americans have already given up on them. The Saudis are willing to abandon them. Pakistan's only hope lies in friendship with India. That's one. I'm quoting Ahmed Rashid. The second point is, and that is where I think the Admiral's living in a bit of denial, Pakistan cannot move away its military establishment from a Cold War mindset and de-ideologize itself. There is that problem amongst hardliners. I'm not saying everybody is a hardliner in the establishment, but I think they have a dominant role. The third aspect is, and that for us who watch Pakistan is a very interesting aspect, is year on year, repeatedly for the last 65 years, Pakistan's strategy vis-a-vis India has been consistent. Use irregulars, deny that, and hope like hell that you'll get a military advantage out of it. The tragedy for India is that our political leadership tends to overlook all that.
We'll come to that.
Want to go back
we'll
to
come
the dialogue
we'll come,
with
Maroof.
Pakistan without bringing the
punish us.
No, 1 second. Admiral Javed Iqbal. Admiral Javed Iqbal.
Peace on the table.
No, Admiral Javed Iqbal. What Ahmed Rashid also writes.
The table for dialogue.
No, what Ahmed Rashid also writes.
Very small reply.
What Ahmed Rashid also writes. Javed Iqbal, please accept the reality in your country. The fact is, Ahmed Rashid also writes that on election day, it was the military which evicted a New York Times correspondent from your country. And I'm sorry to have to say this to you on your face. But you know and I know, the whole world knows your government didn't even know that. Ahmed Rashid also writes, and allow me to complete. Ahmed Rashid also writes that Nawaz Sharif will need to cooperate with the army in order to have an effective policy towards brokering peace with Afghanistan between the Americans, Karzai and the Taliban leaders who are all based in Pakistan. So the point of the matter is this, Zafar Hilaly, and I want you to accept this, that Nawaz Sharif is kowtowing to your Pakistani army. Would you have the courage and the honesty tonight to say on Indian television that your Prime Minister is handcuffed by your army effectively in the given strategic situation that he finds himself in?
Will it give good rating to your program?
No, I don't want ratings. I want the truth. Thank you.
Good rating to your program?
Let him answer that. Let Zafar Hilaly answer that.
Let me just say this. There has indeed been a change in the thinking of Pakistan when it comes to India. And let's be also fair that it is the armed forces which has taken the lead and announced that the main threat to Pakistan is no longer from India, but it is from within, from terrorism. Now, that does not mean that you allow India on the line of control to start coming in, killing. I told you, there are 4 people who were killed by Indian soldiers. One of them, a cousin of the chap standing not far from me, attended his funeral. And he is very upset. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that there are local forces in the area, military or terrorists, who keep thinking that their job
so
is
you are
to
not
get
answering
one
my
up
question.
On the other.
No, why is Zafar Hilaly avoiding my question so assiduously when I'm asking Zafar Hilaly a simple question?
My answer
the question is whether your Prime Minister is hostage to your army, yes or no?
The army. My
yes
answer
or no?
to you is that it is the army which has said that the main threat is not from India but from terrorism.
Well, you are sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken, Zafar Hilaly. You are sadly mistaken.
And our Prime Minister,
you are completely
will you stop
mistaken.
interrupting? Yeah, you've learned nothing. All you do is interrupt. I mean, what do you gain by these kind of mad discussions?
Zafar Hilaly,
nobody hears
Zafar
each
Hilaly,
other, nobody comprehends the other.
Zafar
so
Hilaly,
don't keep interrupting.
Zafar Hilaly, I wish I could let you carry out untruths.
But first, let me present it.
Zafar Hilaly, when you are, you are exasperated, but so am I, that you are presenting an untruth. The fact of the matter is that
this seems to be your style.
told Sharif.
I mean, you have mastered the style of interrupting, interjecting, sidelining, going off track, burning red herrings, and then in the middle provoking. What's the point? I mean, it might sell your program well,
Zafar
but quite
Hilaly,
frankly, nothing else happens.
Zafar Hilaly, I don't know if Pakistani television is to sell itself. What we do is the pursuit of truth, and thankfully we are in a democracy. But the fact of the matter is, the only thing that I have mastered, Zafar Hilaly, is to not let an untruth go unchallenged. And Zafar Hilaly, this is the fact. Today I said I would only quote Pakistani press. Pakistani press.
What is speaking untruths?
Yeah, why are you so much worried about us?
The fact is,
why are you so worried about us?
Well, we are only worried about you to the point that you are needling us.
Worries.
The point is this, Zafar Hilaly.
I think, Admiral, you will have to soon worry about yourself.
1 second.
Oh no,
May I come in? May I come in, please?
I feel, no, you don't allow. Then why do you call us? If you are not ready to hear us, then why do you call us?
Admiral Iqbal, I was just quoting to Zafar Hilaly, so I let him complete, but I just want to tell him that a Pakistani newspaper called The News quoted its sources as saying that what Kayani told Sharif was this: don't move fast in the Indo-Pakistan equation. He says, you have been out of power, I have been there, I have first-hand experience of the ground situation. And when he met Nawaz Sharif, after Nawaz Sharif's positive remarks on ties with India, Kayani told Nawaz Sharif to go slow. And even Rashid Qureshi, who is accusing me of untruths today, will admit he knows these facts.
Let me say that was very sensible advice. What Kayani meant was to say to Nawaz Sharif, you are the Prime Minister of Pakistan. You are the political leader of Pakistan. You are the authority in Pakistan. My advice to you is, take the people along with you in your India policy.
Sir, are those the words of Zafar Hilaly or Ashfaq Kayani?
Arnab.
Oh, for God's sake, don't you get it? What he was telling a Prime Minister was, I am from the armed forces. I know the reality on the ground. Do what you are doing,
when you let your army decide your foreign policy, this is what happens. And I have just proven it today.
Yes, unfortunately in Pakistan, thanks to what India has become,
and you asked me, you asked me, Admiral Javed Iqbal. You asked me, Admiral Javed Iqbal asked me on the Newshour tonight, why are you so interested in us? Well, we are interested in you because you happen to be our neighbors. And that's a fact.
We know why you're interested.
That's the only reason.
Then learn to live.
Well, I'm getting a rebut before I
live with your neighbor.
Well, not if the neighbor enters my soil and kills 5 of my soldiers. No, we won't. Admiral General Jaswal is responding. General Jaswal, and then I'm going to General Rashid Qureshi.
Will you give me also some minutes or not?
I will, sir, but I also have to go to General Rashid Qureshi.
Will you give me some minutes or not?
Well, General Jaswal and then to General Rashid Qureshi. Yes, General Jaswal.
I would request you to understand the whole scenario, the basis of this discussion. You see, when Nawaz Sharif ji took over, I was personally very happy. He said, well, once again rejuvenating ties with India, and soon after that he announced that he's going to support the Kashmir cell, and thereafter now we find that all these activities are going on the LC, where they've killed 5 of our soldiers. 2 aspects emerge. One, what his statement was there initially, and what he did to reactivate the Kashmir cell. Trust deficit. This is one of the main reasons of no dialogue taking place. Just a minute, please. No dialogue taking place between the two. The second aspect is, if in case he was genuine, then why has the army done this kind of an act? Extrapolation. Is the army out of control of Nawaz Sharif? No, he said so, that the civil government is supreme. So the second extrapolation is he encouraging the army to do this kind of a thing?
Precisely, that's the suspicion.
You see, dialogue is always initiated when the ground is there.
No, you see...
And the army is now denying it, that this has not happened.
No, but
I mean, it's too far-fetched. Let's be clear in our mind that if in case we want to move forward, let's leave the rhetoric. Let's not do these kind of activities because tempers go high.
I give General Rashid Qureshi the last word.
Genuineness.
No, I give General Rashid Qureshi the last word. The increasing feeling, General Qureshi, is that there is an arrangement between Kiani and Sharif to keep the pot boiling with India while also trying to have these social meetings with Manmohan Singh on the sides of the UNGA. The fact is, General Qureshi, that Indian public opinion will not support this. No, General Qureshi, Indian public opinion will not support any dialogue with Pakistan in the given circumstances. Is your country willing to risk that?
Good.
General.
Oh, yes.
General, that question is to General Qureshi.
Right. If you're willing to listen, I think we need to cut out all this shouting and the rhetoric that we've been hearing. And frankly, let me accuse you as the person who's anchoring the program to at least let the people that you ask to give a point of view complete their point of view. So first of all, I don't think that there's any arrangement between Kiani and Nawaz Sharif of keeping the pot boiling. It's my opinion. You may agree with it, you may not. Second, each time Zafar Hilaly brought out how the Indian army had killed Pakistani soldiers, you interrupted him and did not let anyone listen to what he was saying. What he was saying is correct. We've heard it, we've got information, and you may keep denying it, or you may have a different explanation, which somehow happens to be the case when you accuse us and we tell you that our army does not do such things.
Really?
That they don't behead soldiers. Now, please, let me complete. Now, if we are going to discuss things in a cool and, logical fashion, then we will arrive at a conclusion.
Yes.
If we are not going to discuss it, if we are going to keep interrupting each other
General
or shouting
Qureshi,
at each other, then neither will we understand what you are saying,
General Qureshi,
nor will you understand what, or even try to understand what we are saying.
But General Qureshi, I understand your sentiments.
Arnab.
And may I say this to you 1 minute, Maroof? I reciprocate your sentiments. And I also would like to coolly ask you, as I coolly asked you one cool question, right? You were military spokesperson for General Musharraf, right? And I had the pleasure, if you don't remember, General Qureshi, that when you landed in Agra, I was among the reporters, right, in the hotel who asked you point blank, and you'll remember your encounter with me, maybe you don't, but I asked you about the involvement of the Pakistani army in Kargil, right? And every Indian has consistently been asking you one question, and all my programs have asked you one question. I will ask you that question today, and if you answer that question honestly, and not rhetorically, then I will seal this debate. So my question to you is, if you say that Pakistan had no hand in Kargil, then why is Musharraf saying himself that he was proud of the Kargil operation? In that question lies the truth of what has happened at Chakandabag yesterday morning. Please answer that question, point blank.
I will. Now you see, the way things happened in Kargil, there was an action and a reaction. When the Indian army reacted, it bombed Pakistani positions on the Pakistani side of the line of control. The Pakistan army defended Pakistan's line of control. Pervez Musharraf is proud of the fact and the way in which the Pakistan army responded to that incursion. And Pakistan army did very well in defending itself in Kargil. Now, if you want to accept it, I will be very grateful. If you don't want to accept it, I can't do anything about this.
I again would have liked to accept it, but I can't and I won't, because Chaudhry Nisar Khan has told reporters outside Parliament that he was forced to seek the formation of a judicial commission because your country doesn't believe it. So I'm only putting this on the agenda because I need to, I need to go on to the next discussion. But I want to tell all our Pakistani guests just one thing. The fact is this, that there can be talks with Pakistan today only if these incidents don't happen. And I have the Foreign Minister of India on Times Now a few minutes back. The Foreign Minister of India has said there will be a fallout. And every political party and every party in India today wants these talks to be called off unless Pakistan stops what it's doing. You may think it's unfortunate, but that's the reality,
most welcome like that.
Well, I thank you all.
Reality, that's what we also say that.
Well, it's unfortunate, but that's the reality, sir. Thank you very much.
It's not fortunate.
Well, I don't know what you think. Maybe you never wanted talks, but a lot of Indians wanted talks, but not in this atmosphere.
No.
Well,
look, you see, the problem is that you are, using Pakistan to keep India together.
Sir,
that is the reality.
Sir, that's not true. India is far more united than Pakistan will ever be, and you know that.
You will fall
including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much for joining me on this debate on the Newshour tonight. Thank you very much indeed.